united front was determined this morning, that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
That was ridiculous. That was childish, and Sabrina had to let it be known. I don't really think that was necessary. She tried to laugh it off, but Sabrina's not feeling you.
Have you ever seen someone try to hijack a movement, throw shade, and accidentally expose their own jealousy, all in under 10 seconds? Well, that was exactly Kelsey Plum at the 2025 WNBA All-Star Press Conference. She sat there smirking, pretended it was harmless, and said, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were present. Then she tried to laugh it off like it was supposed to be cute. Spoiler, it wasn't. Sabrina Ionescu's eye roll, instant classic. That wasn't just side-eye. It was a full-body rejection of Plum's pettiness and unnecessary drama. And here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark wasn't even there, yet she still managed to clap back in a way that completely ended the entire conversation.
SQ did not like this, by the way.
And you can just see, even with the way Sabrina Ionescu's reacting,
with just
she's
one
like,
slick line.
What did you just say?
0 members of Team Clark were present. Kelsey Plum dragged the entire mood of the room straight down into middle school cafeteria gossip. The moment was supposed to be about unity. Players had just worn "Pay us what you owe us" shirts, trying to show a strong collective front in their fight for better wages and respect. Instead, Plum flipped the energy, shifted the spotlight, and exposed a very fracture the league insisted didn't even exist. And here's the kicker. Caitlin Clark wasn't even in the building. She was at home nursing a painful groin injury, completely unaware she was about to be thrown directly under the bus. The whole thing came across as calculated, strategic, and undeniably bitter. But Sabrina Ionescu wasn't having any of it. Sitting right next to Plum, she tilted her head, rolled her eyes, and dropped a sarcastic that really needed to be mentioned, shutting the moment down with icy precision.
Now, Sabrina Ionescu quickly, swiftly, and in a hurry, kind of tried to stop Kelsey Plum from taking these little shots, but she didn't.
Boom. The entire room went silent. Everyone watching instantly felt that shift in energy. This was no longer about shirts, wages, or solidarity. It became about one player's obsession with outshining Caitlin Clark and failing miserably in front of the world. Sabrina Ionescu didn't need to raise her voice. She didn't need to rant, point fingers, or call names. All she had to do was roll her eyes and drop a subtle, savage line. And in that instant, it told the entire world exactly what she thought of Kelsey Plum's unnecessary jab. That really needed to be mentioned, she said, her sarcasm dripping off every single syllable. The press chuckled nervously, but the tension in that room, you could cut it with a knife. Ionescu had originally been selected to Team Clark before Caitlin's unfortunate injury, so there was clear loyalty there. And when you saw her reaction, it wasn't just annoyance, it was genuine disappointment. Disappointment that someone she shared a podium would take such a petty, unprovoked shot during what was supposed to be a rare moment of solidarity. She didn't defend Clark out of obligation. She did because she knew Plum's comment didn't just reflect poorly on Clark. It made the entire league look small, unprofessional, and hopelessly divided. And in that one moment, Sabrina Ionescu came across as more of a leader than many of the so-called veterans trying to take charge. Let's be crystal clear. Sabrina didn't just check Kelsey Plum, she flat out exposed her. While all this drama was unfolding at the podium, Caitlin Clark was at home, injured, recovering, and minding her own business. But when she saw Kelsey Plum's Under Armour promo post, she dropped a bomb that ended the entire conversation instantly. Her reply, "Thank you for the Nike ad." 6 words, just 6, and that was it. No rant, no messy quote tweet, no added drama, just surgical precision. Here's why it stung so much. Plum is sponsored by Under Armour. Clark is backed by Nike. And by taking that petty public swipe at Clark's team, Plum ironically gave Clark's sponsor more attention than her own. That's next level mental chess. It was like Clark pulled a Michael Jordan move, making her haters work overtime for her brand. And what makes it even more brilliant? Casual fans probably missed the play, but the real ones knew. The people in the business knew. And every single player in the WNBA locker room definitely knew. This is exactly what separates stars from superstars. Clark didn't even attend All-Star Weekend, yet she still managed to dominate the headlines, outclass her haters, and remind everyone who the true face of the league really is. Kelsey Plum tried to be clever. Caitlin Clark absolutely finished her. Enter Colin Cowherd, the biggest sports radio voice in America, a guy who never even talks WNBA, until now. Colin Cowherd scorched the earth on Kelsey Plum, mocking the entire situation with a brutal analogy. You were flying Spirit Airlines before Caitlin Clark showed up. Now you're flying private, so sit down. Cowherd simply said what fans were already thinking. Why take shots at the very person who upgraded you from a Motel 6 to the Four Seasons? Clark didn't just bring attention to the WNBA. She brought money, fans, corporate deals, and a non-stop media spotlight. And how did players repay her? With a petty jab in front of the national press. Colin didn't hold back. He told Plum and her teammates, time to grow up fast. He wasn't defending Clark because she's some golden child. He was defending her because she's the only one keeping the lights on. You don't attack the golden goose, you thank it. And when NBA legends, top journalists, and the biggest voices in sports all call out your behavior, you know you messed up. Kelsey Plum made headlines for all the wrong reasons. The original message was supposed to be clear. Pay us what you owe us. But instead of unity, fans saw chaos. Why? Because Plum made sure the world knew Team Clark wasn't in that meeting. You can't preach unity and then immediately expose the most influential player's squad for being MIA. That's not unity, that's sabotage. Players like Aya Wilson, Nneka Agwamike, and Breanna Stewart, high-ranking union voices, helped organize the movement. So how did Team Clark miss the memo? That's no coincidence. That smells like a setup. Think about it. The shirts were already printed, already laid out. Team Clark walks in with no notice, suddenly pressured to wear them. That's not solidarity. That's social engineering. So now fans are left wondering, was this protest genuine or was it a trap? Plum's careless comment ripped the curtain wide open. This wasn't organic. It wasn't spontaneous. It was coordinated. And half the league was left in the dark. When Sabrina Ionescu rolled her eyes, it wasn't shade at Clark. It was shade at the fake unity. Everyone could see this was more photo op than movement. Let's be honest. Plum's tattletale moment wasn't about missed meetings. It was about missed spotlights. She knows what Clark represents: money, power, fame, and influence. Everything Plum wishes she had. Instead of teaming up and rising together, she tried to claw back attention with a cheap shot, but it backfired badly. You don't grow a league by tearing down your best player. You don't gain fans by exposing petty locker room drama in front of cameras. And you definitely don't raise your own market value by acting like a jealous high school rival. Here's the irony. Clark has done nothing but help the league. She brought in fans, sponsors, and sold out arenas. And what does she get in return? Elbows, fouls, and now slander. Meanwhile, Plum sits on stage giggling at her own insult like she just pulled off something heroic. It wasn't brave. It was bitter. It wasn't leadership. It was insecurity. And fans saw through it immediately. The facts don't lie. When Caitlin Clark pulled out of the All-Star game, ticket prices dropped 50% in just hours, from $121 to $64. You think people were flying to Indianapolis to see Kelsey Plum? Please. Clark isn't just the most popular player in the WNBA. She's the only player truly moving the needle. TV ratings prove it. Merch sales prove it. Attendance proves it. Every metric screams her value. So when Plum's team demands more money while simultaneously undermining the one player who actually generates that money, it's not just disrespectful, it's delusional. You want leverage at the bargaining table? Then protect the star who gives you leverage in the first place. Clark's value isn't speculation. It's math. It's reality. Every time she misses a game, the entire league feels it. That's power. And Plum just tried to slap in the face. And the blowback has been brutal. Michael Jordan's former teammate called Plum's behavior embarrassing. Shaq, Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, they've all defended Clark. Not because of favoritism, but because they understand business. When you have a once-in-a-generation draw like Clark, you don't drag her down. You lift her up, That's why the NBA thrives. They protect their stars. The WNBA clearly is still learning, and learning the hard way under a national spotlight. Plum didn't just poke the bear. She woke up an entire army of voices that now see the cracks in the league's so-called unity. And trust me, they're not siding with her. While Plum runs her mouth looking for sound bites, Caitlin Clark is playing chess, not checkers. She doesn't need to rant, tweet, or clap back. Her silence makes more impact than Plum's loudest insult. Because at the end of the day, Clark's actions speak louder than anything. She shows up, she sells out arenas, she handles cheap shots with grace. She represents the league with class, even when her peers don't. That's why fans adore her. That's why legends defend her. That's why brands chase her. She isn't here for drama. She's here to dominate. Meanwhile, Plum looks more desperate by the day, losing credibility, losing fans, and tearing down the very league she claims to want to grow. This isn't Clark versus Plum. This is about professionalism versus pettiness, growth versus jealousy, greatness versus drama. And the WNBA has a choice to make. Do they want drama or do they want greatness? Because as long as Kelsey Plum keeps taking shots, she's not just hurting Caitlin Clark. She's hurting everyone.